excited about that. And then also on the federal side, I think I've mentioned before, I'm the president of the board for the Council of State Community Development Agencies. And so in that position, last month, we met with ranking members of Congress's Banking and Finance Committee, which is the authorizing committee for our federal home program. So home, CDBG, ESG, HOPWA, the housing trust funds, you name it. And so also in follow-up to that, there will be a bill for modernizing the home program. And so next week, actually, I'll be flying to DC again to testify before the Housing and Insurance Subcommittee of the Finance Committee. And so that will be next week, and talking about the great things that can be done with our federal funds. And so I will be happy to represent COSDA and the great state of Colorado. I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have.
Do we have any questions for Allison? Okay. Well, we will move on to the project applications. We have a very full agenda today, so if you could keep your project application discussions, presentations to around 5 minutes, that would be amazing. The first project application is Montview Flats, and Matt Long is going to present that one.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Matt Long, one of the 7 housing development specialists covering the state. My one project today is Montview Flats, located just a block south of Main Street in downtown Littleton. The 50-unit, 4-story new construction project with 1 and 2 bedroom units will house tenants at 30 to 70% AMI. 42 of the 50 units are at or below 60% AMI, with 10 units at 30% AMI. The desirable site is close to both light rail and bus. Vacancy for other light tech projects in the area is a low 3.5%. South Metro Housing Options, also known as the Littleton Housing Authority, is the second oldest housing authority in the state. They're an experienced developer and have surrounded themselves with an experienced team. The applicant is requesting $575,000 from DOH. That equates to just under $14,000 a unit and 2% of the $25 million capital stack. Andrew Stackhouse is the underwriter, and together we are recommending approval of the full $575,000 request in the form of an HDG grant. Sarah Burr with South Metro Housing Options is here to provide a few more details on the project. So with that, I will hand it off to Sarah.
Thank you, Matt. And despite the name below, Julie Stern, she is our consultant. Sorry, Julie. But I'm having difficulty getting in through Google Meets on my computer, so I'm using Julie. So Julie's here with me, as well as our executive director, Corey Ritz, is on the phone. So thank you very much for listening to our request today. I am the real estate development manager for South Metro Housing, and really, I think the 2 big important things to mention about Montview Flats. One is that it has amazing support from the city, but also the city in general is as progressive as I've seen in any jurisdiction, in that it has worked in the last 7 years to move through an IHO, or an inclusionary housing ordinance, of which this project has been a beneficiary of financially, and also with the planning, through the planning stages. So I just want you to know that there's a lot of local support behind this, which feels great and wonderful, but also illustrates the huge need in Littleton, like any Colorado community. The study that was done in 2017 showed that there's over 1,300 units needed for folks at or below, making about $25,000 or less. And then, you know, that's just at that level. And we really are aiming for that deeper affordability. I think Matt said a lot about the project already, but really just want to say that the greatest asset here is location. We are 2 blocks from Arapahoe Community College and 1 block from Main Street. So just really well connected. We feel like folks will be able to take advantage of that here. So I'm just going to stop there and see if there are any questions. Thank you.
Great. That is a fantastic location. Any questions from board members? Okay, we will move on to the next project, which is Ptarmigan Flats, and Evan Samora will be the housing staffer presenting on that.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have 2 projects to present that are both located in Leadville, which I think is really cool. We're going to start with Ptarmigan Flats. It's my pleasure to be here today. Bellcrest Incorporated is requesting $220,000 in housing development grant funding to support the construction of Ptarmigan Flats, which is a 4-unit development located in Leadville, serving households with incomes up to 80% AMI. Ptarmigan Flats has been underwritten by Andrew Stackhouse. Ptarmigan Flats is a unique project in that it benefits from the CHAFA small scale housing financing pilot program, which is a financing tool that allows for very low unit count developments. And it has also helped this project reduce its DOH cost, reduce its DOH request to 10% of the total project cost. Joining us today is Victor Christian with Bellcrest Incorporated and Tim Reinen with Reinen Consultants, the lead consultant on this project. I'll pass it to you, Victor.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Victor Christian, the Secretary of Bellcrest and the owner and developer of the Ptarmigan Flats project. Thank you to the board for allowing us to present our vision for this project. Our family bought this land about 12 years ago, and we explored many options to build affordable housing. And now that we have the support from CHAFA through Tim Reinen Consultancy, we have a perfectly timed opportunity to address the affordable housing shortage in Leadville. Receiving this grant would be critical for our project as far as the construction costs go, because mountain communities are just outrageous when it comes to building. So this would really help us move forward with this. A major highlight of our project is that as far as Leadville goes, we were the first for many of them. CHAFA came up with this small scale housing pilot program that Evan mentioned. Leadville came up with a new development agreement that would help smaller entities and also anybody trying to develop get around the density issues and zoning issues that often prevent building multifamilies on the small lots in Leadville. So we're kind of proud that we're going to be kind of like the educational catalyst for the community so they can gain that experience and get the resources for future affordable housing projects. It's a need-driven community collaborative. A lot of people are involved. City council, the planning department, everybody is very much thrilled about having somebody step forward to develop in Leadville. So we would very much appreciate your assistance to bring this project to fruition, and we're asking that you approve this grant and assist us in this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. It looks like Nancy Jackson has a question.
Yes.
Thank you. I know that Bill could certainly use this housing. I have no doubt about that. I'm just wondering if, since Leadville is one of those old traditional Colorado towns, has there been any pushback from the locals on this kind of development, new housing and new people coming in and all of that, quote, gentrification kind of stuff? Has there been pushback on that?
I would say not. When I've been talking to Leadville, I would say since we bought the land, about 12 or 13 years. And I've just been running ideas past them and all these things that I've been trying to do. And finally, when we got hooked up with CHAFA, The community was 100% behind it. They didn't want to see more luxury mini mansions, and, flipping houses and just building to flip. And they were really excited. Like I said, the whole city council, the mayor, the planning department, everybody was very excited that somebody was trying to do something for the community instead of just trying to, make a dollar.
Good, excuse me. Good to know. Good to know. There's so much of that NIMBY stuff that I was curious about this little small mountain town, but that's good to hear that you will. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions from board members? Okay, we will move on to the next project, which is the current. And James Russell will be presenting that one.
Howdy State Housing Board. My name is James Russell. I'm the Western Slope Depot. Can you guys hear me okay? Awesome, great. So this project provides affordable housing for Mesa County's most vulnerable community members, while anchoring development next to what city's officials are calling the future of Grand Junction's development within the next 20 years, a rapidly expanding, heavily invested 24 road corridor. This is a collaborative project utilizing the Division of Local Governments and the City of Grand Junction's funds to purchase about a 15-acre development site, and the project sits within walking distance of a brand new business healthcare center. The development is going to be an acre tenant of sorts. The 54 units of this project that is serving is going to be about 49% of the area's median income, providing housing opportunities for the folks who need it the most. The Grand Junction Housing Authority also has about 2,588 households on the wait list, so we're anticipating this project will stabilize within a month. When the city makes this level of investment and the Housing Authority accepts mission over profit, it's not just about building the 54 apartments. It's about preventing a homelessness crisis and ensuring that our most vulnerable neighborhoods have a place in the heart of the community, not just in its margins. Andrew Stackhouse underwrote this project, and Brittany Thigpen was the asset manager on this, and the staff supports a 2.7 million HDG award. I have Scott Aker and Brian Roche with me today, and they will give you a little bit more details about the project. Scott, Brian, are you guys on?
Yes, thank you, James. I'm Brian, and I'm the development director for the Housing Authority. As James indicated, we've got a substantial wait list here in Grand Junction, as well as an affordability gap for those with incomes under $25,000 as of our last study in 2024. What this project will kick off is the development of not just the 54 units that are called the current, but what we're calling the confluence, which is the 15-acre parcel that was acquired with the help of state funds. That is zoned for over 300 units, all of which would be in the 30 to 60% AMI range. I think the key part is the location of this particular development. As James indicated, it's in a growing part of the community. It's right across the street from Community Hospital, which not only has a hospital, but also a child care center, and just up the road from Mesa Mall, which has a substantial workforce that's in that 25,000 income range. Most of our population, our population is relatively balanced on that wait list between families, older adults, and the disabled, but we have made the choice to add some additional ADA units to this particular project as well. And yeah, that's pretty much the goal of getting this underway. I want to have Scott talk a little bit more about all the community partnerships that have led to today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your time and your service to our state. I'm Scott Aker. I'm the acting CEO and Chief Operating Officer for the Grand Junction Housing Authority. I just want to highlight the financial partnerships to get to this point. The Grand Junction Housing Authority is putting $3 million of our own money into this development. The city of Grand Junction has been amazing and has been a long-standing partner of ours with over $2.5 million of support. And the Western Colorado Community Foundation is putting in $100,000, which is the first time for the Community Foundation to support bricks and mortar. The last thing that I would like to say is we are so grateful. James has done a great job on this project. It's awfully nice to have James here in Grand Junction with us so that we can sit across the table and chat with him. It's been good to work with James and the team. We're grateful for your consideration.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from board members about the current? Okay. Moving on to the next project. It is another one of Evan's, housing at 10,200 feet.
Hello, everyone. This is our second project in Leadville today. The Lake County government is requesting $980,000 in Proposition 123 funding to support the construction of housing at 10,200 feet, which will be a 24-unit home ownership development in Leadville, serving households between 100% and 140% AMI. Housing at 10,200 feet has been underwritten by Sasha Neal. The project is located in a very walkable area of Leadville, practically next door to a school and the hospital. And the site is within walking distance of the historic downtown area, a regional transit stop, and the Mineral Belt Trail, which cuts through the city. I also want to add that I'm impressed by the amount of local support that this project has received. And their ask from DOH is less than 8%, which is really low compared to a lot of other home ownership projects. With us today is Jackie Wilhelm, the Housing Program Manager of Lake County Government, and Amy Schwartz, the Vice President of Oakwood Homes. I'm going to pass it to you, Jackie.
Good afternoon. So my name again is Jackie Wilhelm. I'm the Housing Program Manager for Lake County. I've been working on this project since 2021, and we're so grateful for your time, your consideration, and the opportunity to present to you today. Lake County's housing crisis became especially urgent during COVID. We saw home prices dramatically soar, and today's median home price is just under $600,000, and our housing stock is, around 1888 is when most of the homes were built, and these homes are well beyond the reach of many local families to afford to purchase. This project represents a critical step towards restoring the affordability and stability in our community. And I just want to highlight the collaboration that we've had on the project. We wouldn't be at this point without our strong partner consideration. Parkville Water has reduced their tap fees. Lake County, the school district, the hospital have contributed the land for the project. And DOLA grants have enabled us to bring in the essential infrastructure, the water, the sewer, the gas, the electric to the sites. And the city and county have provided direct financial support, which has helped us offset project costs and assist buyers with interest rate buy downs. We're proud to be working with Oakwood Homes. They are very solution driven and dedicated team has been instrumental in helping us move this project forward, and their commitment to quality and community impacts makes them an ideal partner in helping us bring this vision to life. It's my pleasure now to introduce Amy Schwartz from Oakwood Homes. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Hi, everyone. Again, Amy Schwartz. I'm leading our social responsibility and community partnership work at Oakwood Homes, and we are so proud to be a partner on this project. Oakwood Homes has built about 30,000 homes over the last 30 years, mostly here in the Front Range. We also build in Arizona and Utah. And this project will present many firsts for us, including the first time building west of I-25, and the first time building on such a small infill site. But in addition to just the partnership work and being honored to come in and help a project that already has so much work into the horizontal development. We have a goal of producing 5,000 homes per year by 2031, half of which are sold to buyers that are 100% AMI or less. And we know we can't achieve that goal on our own. It will be through these types of partnerships that we achieve that. So we're just very excited to be a part of this and appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. Amy, what is the size of the infill site? You mentioned the size of it, and I'm looking through the documentation and I can't find it.
Yeah, Jackie, help me. It's 2 sites that are very close to each other.
Yeah, so it's about, I think, 1.5 acres.
Okay.
One of the special things about our partnership as well is just we have the capacity to self-finance the project, which provides savings to everyone overall. So.
Great. Does anyone have any questions for this project? Okay, thank you so much. I always love seeing homeownership projects. And now I lost my place. Okay. Next, we have High Country Haven, and Erin McNabb is presenting that.
Good afternoon. Goldcamp Housing Partners is requesting $910,000 to build High Country Haven. High Country Haven will consist of 13 single-family homes that will be sold to households below 100% of AMI. Goldcamp Housing Partners was created by the City of Cripple Creek to facilitate the development of affordable housing in the area. If approved for funding, High Country Haven will be the first affordable housing development for both the applicant and the developer. So Elevation Community Land Trust is bringing their expertise in affordable housing to the partnership by assisting with income qualifications and use covenant management. Both Goldcamp Housing Partners and the developer Ground Floor Holdings are hoping to use the experience earned from High Country Haven to be able to continue increasing the supply of affordable housing in an area that has not previously had agencies with the capacity to do so. Presenting today is Susan Balcombe of Goldcamp Housing Partners, accompanied by Steve Marmel of Ground Floor Holdings and Robin Hickey from Elevation Community Land Trust. Susan?
Hello, thank you so much for the opportunity to present. Erin spoke a lot about what I was planning on speaking on, but I will forward that with Goldcamp Housing Partners' ultimate goal is to provide the community with multifamily and single-family homes within the range of 120% AMI or below. This project, High Country Haven, is 13 single-family homes, and it is funded in conjunction with More Housing Now, an infrastructure grant, and the City of Cripple Creek with tap fee waivers. Those, in conjunction with Prop 123 funding, will reduce the cost per square foot by 24.21%. This takes the square footage price from $389 per square foot to $277 per square foot. And this makes it much more affordable for our 50% AMI community. We are also hoping to receive an energy grant for an additional $7,000, which will also make these homes more affordable. The average square foot mean in our community is $350, and that is without consideration to infrastructure cost or rock demolition. Our pent-up demand for Southern Teller County is 460 units per our market study, of which 138 are for home ownership. If approved, Ground Floor Holdings is also willing to sell the additional 3 homes that are outside of the current application. They were set aside for 140% AMI through the More Housing Now grant. And Ground Floor Holdings is willing to sell those to Community Land Trust at a reduced rate so that all 16 homes will be at 100% AMI. Ground Floor Holdings is also a self-funded developer, and these homes are appraising at $398,000. And we're hoping to sell the majority of these homes at 80% or less AMI. Our average 100% AMI for a family of 3 is an income of $84,900. And Cripple Creek's occupancy for a average home is 2.38 persons. Without the affordable housing in this community, we will not be able to stabilize, and we cannot become more than a transient gambling community. We currently need all of the housing options, single family, multifamily, efficiencies on through to 3-bedroom homes. And with your approval of this project, we can get our first project going. Thanks so much for your time and consideration, and I appreciate you hearing me out.
Thank you so much. It looks like Nancy has a question.
Yes, just real quick. I just want to say that I was just up at Cripple Creek this last weekend, and I can say certainly it looks very much like housing is needed. And I agree with the new casino, which we can talk about offline. I think a project like this is probably most definitely needed. There's just not really available housing that I could see in Cripple Creek.
It looks like Candance also has a question.
I do. I thank you for the application and for giving us the details. My question comes from the section that was marked as a concern, because this is the first time application for the project, and it was also a newly formed nonprofit and organization. And I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page. And how do we work with first time applicants to make them more confident in this program and put less risk to the Division of Housing? But maybe it's more the question of the staff from DOH on how do we do any extra hand holding or guidance for these type of applicants?
Thanks, Candance. It looks like Andrew is ready to take that question. Hi, Andrew.
Howdy. That is a great question. You know, it's an issue that we see, especially in smaller communities. You know, I think back to some of our projects on the Eastern Plains, Kit Carson, whatnot. You know, one of the kind of guardrails that we put in place for this project is we're contracting with a third party, like site inspector, draw inspector, to kind of like go through, you know, each of the draw requests. So we think we are safeguarded in that regard. And, you know, I think in a lot of smaller communities like Cripple Creek, we have to rely on, you know, the locals to really, you know, take it upon themselves to, you know, make projects like this happen. So we try to give as much support as we can when we have projects like that. And I think Fallon's got a comment as well.
Yes, I see that.
And I just would like to add that we have also, you know, put forth the request of a partnership, and that's when ECLT was brought in. They have an active MOU and plan to help them through this process and do that deed restriction management long-term on this project. And we also, right, have the asset management team on board. They're aware of the first-time applicant status, so they will be offering TA long-term as well.
Thank you.
That's great and reassuring. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other questions on High Country Haven? Okay, we will move on to Pearls. Oh, did someone say something? No? Okay, we will move on to Pearl Street Apartments, and I will turn it over to Joel Pavelis to give us the overview of the project. Joel?
Yep. Hi there, everyone. Joel Pavelis here, Housing Development Specialist, to talk about the Pearl Street Apartments. Northeast Denver Housing Center is requesting $2.7 million for a 10-story, 138 units, new construction in Denver, right on 16th and Pearl. The entire project includes actual rehab of the existing 20 units right next to it at La Grace Apartments. So a total of 158 units here. Lisa Blankney was the underwriter here, and Jose Mozo is the asset manager. And just to touch on a couple of the highlights here, 40 units, or a little over 25%, will be at the available at 30% AMI. 16 units are family size, so 3 bedrooms. And despite a trend of increasing vacancy rates in Denver, the new units are expected to lease up quickly due to low overall capture rate of 1.6%. This project's expected absorption rate is 14 to 20 units per month. And NDHC's experienced in affordable housing. And here to talk a little bit more about it is Dominique and Jordan Hall. Turn it over to you guys.
Thank you, Joel, and thank you to the State Housing Board for hearing us today. We are very excited about this project. As Joel mentioned, my name is Dominique Acevedo. I'm Executive Director here at Northeast Denver Housing Center. We're really excited about 1600 Pearl Street, mostly because it truly is mixed income housing serving households at every AMI level. Mostly 30 to 80% AMI, but really every AMI level in every bedroom type. Just some things to mention, 91 of the 158 units will be affordable to 60% AMI and below. And as Joel mentioned, 40 of those units will be at 30% AMI. We worked really, really hard for that. That's with only 7 of those units having vouchers. So we're proud. We're proud of the fact that we can represent every income level so well. Let's see, every bedroom type, again, 60% of these units are going to be 2 and 3 bedroom units. Again, very proud of this unit mix. I want to mention that, as Joel said, the capture rate being so low at 1.6% really does demonstrate the strength of this project and the need. But I will say a lot of it's due to the experienced team and really honing in on the product. But I'd be remiss not to say that this location is ideal. The site, as Joel mentioned, is located at 1600 Pearl. It's within walking distance to downtown, within blocks of the bus rapid transit line, and it's located in North Cap Hill, which is the second most walkable neighborhood in the city of Denver. So we're just very proud about this. I do have our Director of Design and Development here, Jordan Hall. Jordan, if you'd like to speak just very quickly on the energy efficiency.
Of course, yeah. With this building, we're very excited that we're going to be pursuing a gold standard with the National Green Building Standard. We're also choosing to align ourselves with Denver's overall electrification goals. We've designed this building to be all electric using a modular panelized construction method of cross-laminated timber panels. Will help us reduce a lot of carbon costs, not during construction, but also down the road, helping to maintain the affordability of these units by reducing their energy costs through these green measures that we're working on implementing.
So with that, we'd just like to thank the State Housing Board and also all of the DOH state staff who've been wonderful to work with. It's always a pleasure to work with them.
Looks like Ryan Jones has a question.
Yes, hi, thank you for the presentation. It looks like a great project and very needed. I had a quick question just based on it's been pretty difficult lately in many areas to differentiate affordable rents to achievable market rents. And it used to not be a problem, especially in areas like Denver, but you hear signs that 60% AMI are approaching achievable market rents. And so your 80, 90, and 120% units, are those underwritten at a lot lower levels?
We could go as high as the 2025 rents, but the project can sustain at 2024 rents. We do have the ability to, as it was mentioned in the write-up, the project sustains at even a high vacancy rate of 10%. So all of those are built in to this project performa. But I will say this is an experienced team, as Joel mentioned. The contractor, the architect, Northeast Denver Housing Center, we're all the same team that has been doing this large multifamily mixed projects since 2017. So we've spent a lot of time on the product. 15 of the units here are 3-bedroom units. That is a product type that is really underrepresented in the PMA. And so our product will compete very well because we've spent the time and effort to make sure that it does. So I just don't, I don't want to, I can't stress that enough.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on to City of Boulder SFOO.
Thanks, LaDon.
Owner occupied.
Yes, thank you so much, LaDon. Happy Tuesday, all, and good afternoon. My name is Bailey Tickey. I am one of the asset managers and the team lead on the home ownership side. And the first program that I'm excited to present to you today is the City of Boulder's Rehabilitation and Replacement Fund. The City of Boulder is looking to continue their current rehabilitation program and pilot a mobile home replacement program. Here to present on behalf of City of Boulder is Eli Erkin, Home Ownership Manager, and Molly Taylor, Housing Policy Senior Project Manager. Molly and Eli, feel free to hop on and take it away.
Thank you, Bailey. Can you hear me? Good, thank you. Thank you, State Housing Board and staff from DOH. I am Molly Taylor. I use pronouns she, her, and I want to introduce my colleague, Eli Erkin, who's with us as well.
Hey y'all, I'm Eli Erkin. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the City of Boulder's Home Ownership Manager. Thanks, Molly. Go ahead.
You're welcome. Thank you for everything you do, Eli. So I just wanted to back it up a little bit and just say thank you for the opportunity. Finding financing in the manufactured housing space is quite challenging, and we have a profound need. For those of you who may not be familiar with the City of Boulder's affordable housing program, manufactured housing is a key component, and we've been working on it since 1985. In that era, the city created mobile home park zoning to preserve the land use inside of our city so that those properties were not redeveloped and go the way of the other McMansions of our world. And to that end, then we have the responsibility for being good stewards for 1,300 homeowners in our city. And as you can imagine, the state of the housing at this era is getting a little bit compromised. A lot of the families are threatened now with losing their homes because of the age and use of these properties and the predatory marketplace for finding financing to replace them. So this opportunity is huge for us, and it's huge for our residents and keeping our neighborhoods, our manufactured housing neighborhoods stable as good Boulder citizens and as people with jobs, kids in schools, and the investments they've made here. I want to turn it over to Eli so Eli could speak a little bit about the rehab.
Thanks, Molly. So yeah, for the single family owner occupied rehab loan portion of the request, we have a huge need in our community for owners of both affordable homes and market rate homes who are low income and can't afford and don't have any other access to other loans to make life safety repairs, upgrades to their homes. There's a gap in our community where we have some programs for energy efficiency upgrades for some of those systems, but not for your regular old the roof replacement or your sewer line repair. And so we have a big need in our community for this type of program, which the single family owner occupied rehab, it would be any owner of any type of home. So a mobile home, condo, townhome, single family home. And yeah, we have a lot of experience. Sorry, a little nervous. We have a lot of experience with operating affordable, home ownership program, income calculation. We have a lot of in-house expertise for rebuilding this program to serve this need that there's currently a gap. So thank you so much.
And to just circle around back to something Eli introduced, and that is the fact that we do as a city work creatively and aggressively to capture other grant programs. Some of those grants will be made available to help qualify our manufactured housing owners who will be applying for replacement loans. So we'll be using that a little bit to make sure we can manage the DTI. We're working with local not-for-profits to help us with our qualification of our Spanish speaking and then help people with their applications. And working with your fabulous staff, with Bailey and Pam and everyone to establish a very, very much needed and critical program. Happy to take any questions.
Do we have any questions on this project? Great. Well, you have one of the most expensive housing markets in the state, so I can see why this is much needed there. Good. Appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay. Now moving on to the City of Aurora down payment assistance. And that is, sorry, my phone is blowing up. And that is Brittany Bell.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brittany Bell, Housing Asset Manager with the Homeownership Team here at DOH. I'm presenting the City of Aurora's Homeownership Assistance Program, which is intended to provide 24 down payment assistance loans to home buyers at or below 120% AMI within the City of Aurora, which includes Adams, Arapahoe, and Douglas counties. The proposed award is $720,000 in the form of a one-year Prop 123 grant for the City of Aurora's Down Payment Assistance Program. I'll now hand it off to Biani Castro and Sarah Pullman from the City of Aurora to talk about their down payment assistance program and answer any questions.
Hi, I'm Sarah Pulliam. I'm the Manager of Community Development here at the City of Aurora. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about our application. We have had a down payment assistance program in the past. However, since 2013, home prices in Aurora and across Colorado have risen about 122% over the increase in income. And so our median house price is around $530,000 right now. And, you know, that's just not affordable to someone at 100% AMI unless they work many, many hours. The thing that the City of Aurora has actually been doing is actually creating the homeowner units with ECLT, Elevation Community Land Trust, and Habitat for Humanity, but we can't manufacture those fast enough. So we're looking to find homes that are already in existence and bring those prices down for folks that are 100% AMI, 80% AMI, 120% AMI, and help them get into a house that's affordable to them now and not having us to have build out the units one by one. Because over the last 2 years, we've completed only like 12 units, and we have 8 more in the pipeline. We also have some a plot of land where there's 54 units. We had that out for a request for proposal. It closed last week. It's a 54 unit built total construction build, and we just can't do that fast enough. So we want to help people be housed now.
Any questions? Okay, we will move on to the next project, which is Housing Resources of Western Colorado doing business as ComAct Housing Development Corporation. And Bailey is up again.
Thank you. Last time you have to hear from me today. The second program that I'm excited to bring to you all is from ComAct Housing Development Corporation. They're requesting additional funding to add to their current contract. So this is a supplemental request to continue meeting the need of down payment assistance that they've seen in their area. So here to present on behalf of ComAct is Wendy Jenkov. She is the lending director. And Wendy, feel free to take it away.
Hi, thank you for having us present and request the supplemental funds for our DPA program. We, as Bailey mentioned, we have been able to help a number of families become first-time home buyers and 36 loans from last year from our HDG. to help with that down payment assistance. We have 30 applicants on our wait list, trying to get there. We have 7 loans that are closing in July, which is, we're spending about $300,000 in July alone just to help folks get into their home as first-time home buyers. So projecting forward, if we continue at that rate, we will run out of our funds from the beginning of this contract, which we started closing loans in March, and we're now in July and halfway through our funds. So thank you for considering extra funding for us.
Do we have any questions? Okay, thank you so much. Next project is Habitat for Humanity of Colorado statewide. And Joel is up again.
Hi there. Here to talk about Habitat for Humanity. This is our statewide contract, and they are requesting $3,080,000. It's actually for 38 units of new construction projects throughout Colorado. Lisa Blankeny is the underwriter, and Bailey is the asset manager on this. The staff is actually recommending $2.8 million, which comes out to about $72,000 per unit. This is the third round of funding, which would bring our total to $17,740,000. And it's estimated that 50% of these the projects are would be rural and 50% urban. The current pipeline indicates more than 50 planned units coming up. And the average sale price of $462,500 will average to under 60% of AMI for homeownership, which is well below the 80% AMI average for other affordable homeownership developments. And here to talk a little bit more about this is Jennifer O'Keefe from Habitat for Humanity.
Thanks, Joel, for your assistance on this application process, and thank you to all the CDOH staff that has worked with us on this contract. We really appreciate your help, and thank you, State Housing Board, for your support and partnership over the years. Habitat for Humanity affiliates across the state are working on unique and ambitious projects. In Boulder, a modular factory built by the city and run by the Habitat affiliate is providing construction jobs in a climate-controlled environment, vocational education for high schoolers, as well as a much faster construction schedule for homes for families who desperately need them. In Glenwood Springs, 6 modular energy efficient units are being built on land donated by the city. You've got a really fast time frame estimated at about 9 months from groundbreaking to closing. These are just 2 examples, but it gives you an idea of the innovation and collaboration in the Habitat network that's driving progress on affordable homeownership in Colorado. Statewide, we continue to pursue our goal of doubling house production, and our partnership with the Division of Housing plays a critical role in achieving this. We're drawing down funding from this contract at a pretty quick rate now. This additional funding would help with affiliates for the units that they have in the works over the next several months. I'd like to close just with the story of a woman in Northern Colorado. Her husband passed away several years ago, leaving her with 3 small children to raise. They've been living in cramped spaces. She's been working 2 or 3 jobs. Support from this grant helped build the home that will soon belong to this family. It's a place that will offer stability, an affordable mortgage, and a fresh start. And we talk a lot about budgets and timelines, and those are critical, and I love them. But I wanted to provide one of the stories that's behind the work that we do. Your support makes a meaningful difference in people's lives, and thank you for considering our request.
Thank you so much for sharing a story, Jennifer. Do we have any questions? We have a quiet board today. Okay, moving on to our final project. Look at that. We made it Parkview and Mountain View Plaza with Lisa Blakeney.
Hi, good afternoon. There was only one statewide balance private activity bond application for the June round. The applicant is the Longmont Housing Authority, with Lincoln Avenue Communities serving as the developer. The project is Parkside Apartments and Mountain View Plaza. The request for statewide balance PABs is $5,740,908 to support the acquisition and rehabilitation of 130 total units in Boulder County. The project encompasses 2 developments located approximately 1.5 miles apart. Parkside Apartments has 52 and 3-bedroom units serving families at or below 30% AMI, subsidized with a Section 8 HAP contract. Mountain View Plaza has 80 1- and 2-bedroom units serving seniors at or below 30% AMI, also subsidized with a Section 8 HAP contract. Existing LIHTC agreements restrict all units to tenants earning at or below 60% AMI. The project is encumbered by a land use restrictive covenant dated April 7th, 2006 for a period of 15 years, with an extended use period of 15 years through April of 2036. This is not a permanent supportive housing project. However, Rainbow Housing Assistance provides services to all residents. These include youth after-school programs, job readiness and placement assistance, life skills training, and healthcare resources. The project also offers on-site management, laundry facilities, and Mountain View Plaza features a community area with a shared kitchen for all project residents. The project has received the City of Longmont's full PAB allocation for 2024. It will also receive the City of Longmont's full PAB allocation for 2026, which will be allocated to the city on January 15th, 2026. CHAFA is also providing up to $2 million as a top-off. The 4% tax credit award is expected to be received in the fourth quarter of 2025. No state housing tax credit award was requested. Rehabilitation is scheduled to begin in January 2026. The apartment market in the area has exhibited stable occupancy levels and generally upward trending rental rates while maintaining favorable absorption rates. Population and household growth within the subject neighborhood have been positive since 2020, with this trend expected to continue through 2028. All of the project's units benefit from Section 8 subsidies, and the current Section 8 contract rates are expected to increase. The project's actual occupancy rates in 2022 and 2023 were 97% and 98.2% respectively. The estimated occupancy rate for as is restricted is 97%. Lincoln Avenue Communities acquired both properties in December 2024. The project encompasses existing developments, therefore, zoning and infrastructure are already in place. Staff is recommending a full statewide balance private activity bond award of $5,740,908. As a percentage of the aggregate basis, the private activity bond total for the project is 50.05%. And with that, I'm open to questions, and also to let you know that Jesse Cohen from Lincoln Avenue Communities is also on the call.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the board? Okay, so we will move on to the project votes. But if I remember right, there were some conflicts. Ryan, were they yours?
Yes, I have to recuse myself from the Housing Resources of Western Colorado and the Grand Junction Housing Authority deal.
Okay. So that is, hold on. Which 2 projects are those? Housing Resources.
I believe that's COMACT and
The current.
And the current, right.
And Ptarmigan is the other one?
The current.
The current, and which other one?
And the, let's see, what?
COMACT.
COMAC, yeah.
COMACT? Okay. Okay, so let's start with those 2. Can I have a motion for approving project 33912, the current, and projects 34579 and 34127, COMACT?
So moved. This is Nancy.
Nancy, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Great. Thanks, James. All those in favor say aye. Or raise your-
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, those two have passed. Now, is there a motion to approve the rest of the project applications?
So moved.
Okay, James, thank you.
Second.
Second by Nancy, thanks. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, congratulations, everyone.
Projects.
We had some great projects today. Thank you. Next, we are moving on to the homeless contribution income tax credit annual review. Is that correct?
Yes,
Ladon?
sounds good.
Ladon? This
Yes.
is Lisa Blakeney. We need a vote on the statewide ballots private activity bond project as well.
Oh, we need a separate vote for that?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I thought it was included in all of the rest of them. Okay, so can we have a motion for the statewide private activity bond?
This is Candace. I'd make that motion to approve the private activity bonds.
Is there a second?
Second, James.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Elisa, for pointing that out to me.
Sure thing. No worries.
And I will turn it over to Brianne Vales to present about the homeless contribution income tax credit.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and share my screen. My name's Brianne Vales. I'm the manager for the Homeless Contribution Income Tax Credit, or HCTC, as I'll be referring to it today. I'm excited to share a report on the annual review for the HCTC for 2024. This is a statute mandated annual review from department staff to the State Housing Board members for informational purposes regarding HCTC performance, specifically outputs and outcomes of participating programs, as well as 2024 tax year contributions and estimated contributions for the 2025 tax year. Overall, we want to give you an overview of the program outcomes for the tax credit's second year, and we will be specifically looking at contributions given from January 1st to December 31st, 2024. The memo provided in your packet includes some more detailed information, and I've pulled out some important pieces to share and highlight in this presentation. I will pause a couple of times throughout for questions on topics that are covered, and look to have plenty of time for questions and comments at the end as well. So, purpose of the HCTC. Per statute, HCTC is meant to catalyze private investment and civic engagement in efforts to address homelessness in Colorado. As you can see from the testimonial on this slide, HCTC can be a powerful incentive for donations to homeless response nonprofits. And not only is HCTC a tool for organizations to raise funds for homelessness services, but also can help develop more meaningful connections and personal investment from community members. Some background and overview. HCTC was created by House Bill 22-1083 and was implemented for its first tax year in 2023. HCTC replaced the homeless-related activities portion of the enterprise zone tax credit administered by the Colorado Office of Economic Development and International Trade. So now HCTC provides a tax credit to Colorado taxpayers who make qualifying contributions to approved projects in Colorado-based nonprofit organizations with a primary focus on assisting those experiencing or at risk of experiencing homelessness. HCTC provides a direct benefit to taxpayers who receive the financial benefit of the credit And there is an indirect benefit to eligible organizations that offer the credit for donations to their services or capital projects. So it's a win-win for both the donors and the nonprofit organizations. Organizations often offer the credit to entice new donors or incentivize larger donation amounts, for example. This slide gives an overview of the tax credits themselves. So taxpayers in this group can include individual households or businesses, may receive up to $100,000 total in credits per year. And so these credits can be issued for contributions to multiple organizations and can include in-kind or monetary contributions. The amount of a tax credit does vary based on the location of the HCTC eligible project. So projects located in an urban community are able to offer 25% credit of the donation amount, and then those located in rural communities can offer a 30% credit for the donation amount. Donations must be $100 or more for monetary contributions. And organizations can set a higher minimum if they choose, depending on their donor base and fundraising needs. So we do see a wide spectrum of financial support that comes through the HCTC, and we see the benefit across multiple financial levels for donors. And then in-kind contributions must have a fair market value at over $5,000 is their threshold there. HCT is a valuable resource. Nonprofit organizations that offer the credit can use it as a fundraising incentive to stabilize their funding sources. So individual donations can fill a vital role in funding nonprofit budgets for organizations that may not be receiving the grants that they did previously, as is the example of the testimonial on this slide. HCTC can incentivize more reliable funds from those individual donors to help supplement, maybe a grant not received. And so is a vital tool for organizations as they're building out their budgets. So looking at some numbers from 2024, we saw over 25 million come in contributions to HCTC projects. And this was across over 6,000 donors who gave. The tax credits, as I mentioned earlier, the percentage is different between urban and rural. So that total came in at over $6 million for the tax credits the donors actually received. Compared to 2023, HCTC raised 26% more funds for eligible activities and saw a 4% increase in the number of projects compared to 2023. So different factors contributed to this increase, including the division's outreach to organizations to recruit potential new participants and to successfully onboard new organizations or providing support for those that needed just more technical assistance for fundraising successfully. And there were also legislative changes that occurred during 2024 that helped HCTC eligible nonprofits to more successfully leverage the credit. So for example, Senate Bill 24-16 reduced the number of digits of the Social Security number collected by nonprofit organizations and included on the tax credit certificate. So this change helped just include donors who were previously concerned about their data privacy and maybe not wanting to participate in the credit because previously they needed to provide the full Social Security number. So after this change, some felt more comfortable making an HCTC contribution. Also, another change was that contributions through 501c3 intermediary organizations were also allowed because of this bill. So these contributions totaled, as you can see on the slide, over $1.5 million, and organizations really appreciated this opportunity to use fundraising campaigns through intermediary organizations such as Colorado Gives Foundation, for example. to really increase their donations. So next I'm going to dig into the projects and services supported by the HCTC, but are there any questions on the overview so far? Okay, I'm going to move on. So this is a map of the approved projects that were active in 2024. So there are 96 total. The red markers indicate 86 operational services projects, and the purple markers represent 10 capital campaign projects. If we were to zoom in on the Metro Denver and Colorado Springs metro areas, you would see the bulk of the locations there, kind of not surprisingly. But the credit is available statewide, and organizations providing eligible activities can apply for eligibility review to the division. And these markers represent the projects deemed eligible and which actually or actively participated in 2024. So for those operational service projects, these are the activities that were included in those. So this pie chart represents the project types activities provided. Almost a quarter of activities are emergency shelter or transitional housing. Another nearly quarter is case management, which is often combined with shelter or supportive housing for wraparound services. And other services include outreach services, which is often street outreach to unsheltered populations, homelessness prevention to those at imminent risk of homelessness, job placement and workforce ready services, and domestic violence survivors shelter and services. And then about 6% of the services provided include other qualifying services that do not really fit into these categories, but they do provide essential and best practices in their communities. This chart really shows the individuals served. So looking at the activity type, the numbers there indicate individuals served by that activity. The majority of the people, as you can see, were served via shelter, which includes emergency shelter, day shelters, and transitional housing. Diving into some specific outcomes and outputs, there were almost 11,000 exits to housing from HCTC projects. So this means that when someone concluded their homeless support services, they moved into housing, or for prevention services, that means they remained in housing after they received the assistance. For outreach efforts, almost 3,700 outreach contacts were conducted. And so this number indicates the number of times someone was engaged, often on the street with the goal of connecting them with services and support. Moving on to case management, over 36,000 referrals to housing were made, and over 6,000 cases were closed due to a goal being reached from their case management plan that they made. For job training and workforce development, over 1,500 jobs were obtained through those services. So moving on to the capital campaign project types. So these can include building or renovation projects for facilities for services and administrative support, or facilities for supportive housing. And as you can see, over half of the capital campaigns include shelter facilities. And the metrics we collected from nonprofit organizations really are estimates of future impact, because the vast majority of the time they're not actually providing those operational services as they're building or renovating. So these are estimates for the future after the project is completed. And so they estimated over 1,600 individuals to be served per year, 199 supportive housing units, and 461 shelter beds. Are there any questions on the capital campaign or operational service information? Awesome. We'll go ahead and move to probably my favorite slide is the fundraising impact. So we heard and got a lot of testimonials from organizations regarding the impact of HCTC on their fundraising efforts. And so this slide is basically a summary of that feedback. Current donors are really incentivized to give larger donations or multi-year pledges. You know, if they're incentivized to, if they give a larger amount and get 25% of it back or 30% of it back, it really helps them to be more generous in their gifts. For new donors, they may hear about the credit, which piques their interest in donating to an organization, but ultimately they often remain more connected because of the organization's mission and work in the community, and often provide support in other ways outside of just the financial support, like volunteering, for example. And regarding expanded services, individual donations not only serve to fill budget gaps left by discontinued grants, for example, but also help organizations accomplish more in their communities, including expanding services such as shelter capacity, hosting new events for participants, or completing debt-free capital projects, to name a few examples that we heard from this past year. The impact section of your memo does include testimonials that we pulled out to highlight, and those were just a few of just the raving reviews that we got regarding the HCT's impact on these organizations. Looking ahead, so for the 2025 tax year, we have seen some contributions come in. The majority of those do come in the last quarter of the year. So this really is an estimate of 24 to 27 million for the year, based on keeping in mind that we do have a few more projects that are eligible this year. So perhaps a slight increase next year without any other major changes expected for 2025. And as you may recall from my introduction and overview, the HCTC was created by House Bill 22-1083, and that bill did include a sunset date of December 31st, 2026. So this means another bill would need to be introduced and passed into law during the 2026 legislative session in order for tax credits to continue to be issued after the 2026 tax year. For that original legislation, a coalition of statewide nonprofits advocated for the creation of HCTC, and so this same coalition is lobbying for HCTC's renewal. So to be determined on what 2026 holds, but hopefully we'll be able to continue this tax credit program in the future. And finally, according to statutory guidelines, organizations entering into their 4th year of participation in 2026 will submit an application to be reviewed for eligibility renewal. So it's hard to believe that time is already coming up next year. For more information regarding HCTC, feel free in the future to visit the HCTC website or contact us at the email address I put in the chat now. But otherwise, we have plenty of time for questions you may have today. Okay, well, hearing none, I appreciate your time today. And we will see you again next year for the next annual review.
Sorry, everyone, I had to jump on a call. Thank you, Brianne, for the update. Does anyone have any questions?
Just let us know how we can help you when they're for the next session.
Yeah, like I said, the coalition has engaged a lobbyist, so they are making plans, and yeah, I think in talking with the coalition chair, Lance Cheslock, he's the executive director of La Puente in Alamosa. He's been, very integral in the advocacy for the HCTC. And so he's been engaging with nonprofits to get their testimonials, to get them on board, and to get some volunteers to testify for the bill when that comes up next year. So definitely, advocating with legislators is really the next step that the coalition's taking. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, everyone. I have a closing that's supposed to happen at 3:30 that's now not happening. So things are like going crazy here. So we are at closing comments with Ariel. So I'll turn it over to Ariel.
Thanks, LaDawn. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ariel Cisneros. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Associate Director of the Office of Housing, Finance, and Sustainability, filling in for Teresa, who is out on maternity leave currently. Just a few updates for you before we wrap up here. So I will keep it to 5 minutes because I know we've gone through a lot already. So a very advanced update for you all. We are going to be shifting the May State Housing Board of next year. There won't be any applications to review, but due to our Office of Regulatory Oversight, they will need the full meeting. It will be about 2 to 3 hours for stakeholders to provide information for House Bill or Senate Bill 25002. So we will also be shifting that date to May 12th of 2026. We'll get that updated on our end, but just wanted to give you a heads up that that meeting will need to be about 2 to 3 hours long. On that note, we will be canceling State Housing Board for August. We don't have any applications or additional information to bring forward to you. So we will have a break for the month of August, and then we will follow up for September to confirm whether we need that meeting or not. The final update we wanted to provide before we close out here is our first application cycle for the new fiscal year, 2026, will be August. August 15th is when applications are due, but we wanted to share kind of the amount of interest we have received already. So for rental projects, we made $8 million of funding available. We have received over $30 million in requests. For our standard development homeownership program, we had $4 million available. We received over $1.3 million in applications. And then a new homeownership program that we have is we put out a notice of funding availability for a scattered site homeownership program. So this is for programs that are serving, addressing homeownership needs, scattered sites. So they may not know the unit details yet, but they know they will want to acquire, rehab, or build new units across the state. Another section of that NOFA is to allow for an administrator, a nonprofit administrator, to apply to us to administer a mobile home park acquisition fund. We made $20 million available for that NOFA, and we have received over $93.2 million in requests. So we have a lot of interest in our funds. Our staff will be heavy. We will be have a lot of work on our plates come August, but wanted to share those updates, and those LOIs will be are posted on our website as well. So thank you all. Any questions on that before we wrap up for the day?
No questions?
Great.
Thanks, Ariel. Thanks, everyone. So James, did you have a question, or are you waving goodbye?
Waving goodbye.
Thanks, everyone. Our meeting's adjourned.
See
Thanks,
ya.
LaDawn. Bye.
Bye.